Hi everyone, welcome back. In this particular video, I'm going to discuss about variables, keyword, and identifier inside Python. So let's open up our code editor and let's try to understand this particular variable first. So here, first of all, let me just give the title. So here we'll be discussing about variable at the very first. So variables, okay, variables. So guys, variable is nothing but it's just a container and it can store any kinds of value. Okay, so let's say I'll take one example. So let's say a is a variable. Inside that I'm storing 2. Okay, inside that I'm storing 2. So here a is a variable and 2 is the value. That means a contains 2. That means a is the container and it is containing this particular 2. That's why a is the variable and 2 is the value. Now if you want to print this particular variable, you can do it. For this you can use this particular print function. Inside that you can mention that particular variable name. Now if I execute this particular program, you will see that this particular value would be printed. That means whatever value you are assigning inside a variable, this would be printed. So see guys, previously how I used to print that particular data, I was directly passing this particular data inside the print function. But instead of that, now what I'm doing, I'm storing this particular data inside a variable, and that particular variable I'm calling, okay, inside a print function. Now you can also do it for the other data type as well. Let's say I'll take another variable, let's say b is equal to. So here I can take one float type data. So I can take, let's say 3.5. And if I just do the print operation right now, so it will print this particular 3.5. So you can also do for the other data type as well. Let's say I'll take a variable called c. Inside that I'm going to store this particular boolean value. Okay, so boolean value. So it would be true. So true. You can also mention as false. It's completely fine. Let's take another variable called d, and inside that I'm going to mention one string value. Let's say puppy. Now if I want to print it, I can also do it. So I'll just write print. First of all, I want to print the c. Then I can also print this particular d variable. Okay, now you can see that both variable would be printed and it will print my value. Okay, whatever value actually I have assigned inside a variable, it would be printed. So this is called actually variable. Okay, so variable is nothing but it's just a container. It can store any kinds of value. So now you can ask me why we have to use this particular variable inside our program. Why we can't directly pass this particular data inside the print function. Okay, so there is a reason actually, because let's say whenever you are implementing any kinds of software, any kinds of product, so definitely there would be lots of functionality. Let's say if I take one example, let's say Facebook. So whenever you are logging into your Facebook, okay, whenever you are creating an account in your Facebook, so what will happen? You just pass your name, yes or no. You just pass your name, right? Let's say my name is Bappy. I'll pass my name. Whenever it will throw me that particular form, like I have to put my name, I have to put my age, I have to put my phone number, right? I'm passing these at the data. And what Facebook are doing, actually it is storing somewhere. It is storing somewhere this particular information. And where it is storing inside a variable. Okay. And why they are storing, let's say whenever you complete that particular account creation, you will be able to see that it will tell you welcome, let's say your name. It will call your name, let's say Bappy, or let's say Alex, or any other name. Actually it will call, let's say whatever name actually you are using in that particular form, it will give you that particular welcome message. Okay, now how it is getting that particular name? Because it is storing, okay, it is storing somewhere. Let's say it is storing in a name variable. Okay, it is storing in a name variable. Let's say name is equal to, I have given in that particular form Bappy. Okay, in that particular input form I have given Bappy. Okay, and that particular Bappy, where it is stored inside a variable called name. And whenever it is printing that particular message, that means welcome message, how it is printing? It is printing like that. Okay, so it is printing like name. Okay, name, and here it is also printing something called or I can just like write like that. Let's say welcome. Okay, welcome. So welcome should be a string type data, so I can mention inside a double quotation. So welcome. Okay, and comma name. Now if I execute this particular program, you will see that it will tell me welcome Bappy. So that's why actually they are using this particular variable, and variable is super important, like you can say a concept inside programming. Without variable, actually you can't write the program. So whenever you are defining any kinds of value, make sure you are defining that particular value inside a variable, okay, instead of mentioning directly in that particular function. Okay, so this is a super important concept, guys. That's why I just wanted to tell you this particular real-time example. I think now this part is clear in your mind, right? You can also perform mathematical operation with the help of variable. Let's say there is a variable I have taken, let's say a is equal to 2, and there is another variable I have taken, let's say b is equal to 3. Now let's see if I want to do the addition operation. So what I can do, I'll just write print a plus b. Okay, if I just write this particular statement, you will see that it will do the addition operation. 2 plus 3, it would be 5. Okay, so we'll be more discussing about this particular operators inside Python. Okay, like there are so many operators we can use, there are so many mathematical operation we can perform. We'll be discussing each and everything, no need to worry. As of now, I'm only giving you the overview, like with the help of this particular variable, what are the things actually we can perform, right? Now there is two important concept inside variable. The first one is like dynamic, okay, dynamic typing, and there is another one called static typing. Static typing. Now, first of all, let's try to understand the dynamic typing variable. Okay, let's say whenever I'm defining any kinds of a variable, let's say a is equal to 7. Okay, see here I'm directly defining this particular variable called a is equal to 7. Now, inside this particular variable, what kinds of data I'm storing? I think you know that this particular data is a integer type data. Okay, it's a integer type data. Here I can also comment. See, you can also comment like right hand side of the program. It is also possible. Okay, so here it's a integer type data I'm storing in this particular variable. But if you have ever learned any other programming language like C, C++ or Java, there actually I think you saw whenever we define any kinds of variable, first of all we have to define the data type of that particular variable. Let's say I want to define a variable which will contain the integer type data. So first of all I have to define the data type called integer, then I will define the variable name, then inside that I will store this particular value. Okay, so this is the syntax for other programming language. Okay, let's say this is the syntax for C, then C++, okay, then Java. So these are the programming language actually use this kinds of static typing. Okay, this is called static typing. Okay, static typing variable declaration, and this is called dynamic typing variable declaration. Okay, inside Python actually we don't need to mention this particular data type because Python is like so powerful, it is so intelligent, it can automatically detect okay what kinds of data actually you are assigning in this particular variable. Okay, with respect to that, it will automatically assign this particular data type okay of a variable. So you don't need to manually assign this particular data type okay of a variable. It will automatically detect and it will automatically assign in the backend. Okay, so this is the best advantage actually we'll get inside Python. Okay, and if you are using any other programming language, so there actually have to manually assign this particular data type of a variable. So this is what actually I just wanted to tell you. This is a super important topic. Even lots of interviewer ask this particular question like what is the dynamic typing and what is the static typing variable. Okay, just try to explain. So that's why actually I just wanted to tell you these particular things. Now guys, apart from that, there is another concept inside variable. It is also super important concept called dynamic binding and static binding. Static binding. So first of all, let's discuss about this particular dynamic binding. What this particular dynamic binding is. Okay. Now let's say here I have defined my variable. So a is equal to 5. Okay. So here I have taken a variable called a is equal to 5. Now if I print this particular variable, you will see that it will print this particular variable. Okay, you can see that it will print this particular variable and the value is like 5. Now here I can again mention a is equal to okay, a is equal to let's say Bappy. Okay, a is equal to Bappy. Now again if I print this particular variable a, now if I see execute this particular program, so what will happen? First of all it will print this particular 5, then it is printing this particular Bappy, because you can see I have taken the same name of this particular variable. A is equal to 5, then I'm printing this particular a, then again I have taken a is equal to Bappy, again I'm printing this particular a. That means what is happening? So see, I think you know Python is an interpreted programming language, right? So what it will do, it will read line by line. First of all, it will come here and it's all like, okay, a is equal to 5. It has to print that particular 5. Then again it will come a is equal to Bappy. So it will print that particular Bappy. That's why you can see 5 and Bappy. So this is called actually dynamic binding. Okay, but in other programming language, let's say C++ or C or Java, it's not possible. So whenever you define any kinds of variable, let's say int a is equal to 5, okay, or let's say 7, int a is equal to 7. Okay, if you just define like that, you can't ever change this particular data type. Okay, you can't ever change this particular data type. You can't write like that. So int a is equal to, or let's say here you can define a string, okay, str a is equal to, okay, Bappy. You can't ever assign like that. So it won't be allowing you to assign this particular variable. Okay, so this is called static binding. So in other programming language, it's not possible, but in Python, it is possible. If you're taking the same name for the other variable also, still you can do that particular assign operation. Okay, but in other programming language, it's not possible. Okay, it will throw you error. Okay, so that's why it is called dynamic binding. This is called static binding. So again, it is a super important interview question. Most of the interviewer ask. That's why I just wanted to tell you this particular concept as well, right? So we don't need to use this particular static binding and static typing inside the Python. Always we'll be using the dynamic typing and dynamic binding inside our Python programming language. Now let's say you want to assign some of the value in some of the, let's say, variable. Let's say what you can do. Let's say a is equal to 1. and again you have taken a variable called b is equal to 2. Then again you have taken a variable called c is equal to, let's say, 3. Now if I want to print this particular variable, what I can do, I can easily print, I can just write a comma b comma c. Okay, now if I execute this particular code, see 1 2 3 would be printed. But here what I did, guys, here you can see 3 times I had to write this particular variable. Okay, you can see a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 3. So 3 times I had written this particular variable. Okay, so instead of that, you can follow a simpler approach. See what you can do, you can just write like that. So a comma b comma c. Okay, a comma b comma c, and inside that you can store the variable like that. Let's say 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, now if I print this particular value, so if I just simply print this particular value, let's say a comma b comma c. Now see, still you will get the same output. So instead of mentioning like that, you can also declare variable in that way also. It is also possible. Okay, so this will make your task more easy. Instead of defining in a new line again and again, what you can do, in single line you can assign the variable. Only you just need to separate out with the help of comma, and there actually you can store the value. That means what is happening, inside a 1 is coming, inside b 2 is coming, inside c 3 is coming. Okay, and you can print all of them one by one. Now there is another things you can do. Let's say again I have taken a variable, let's say a is equal to 5. Then let's say again I want to take b is equal to 5. Again I want to take, let's say, c is equal to 5. Now if I print them, so if I print them, see, it will print all of them. So a, b and c. Now if I execute, see, it will print 5 everywhere. Okay, but instead of writing like again and again, what I can do, I can just write like that. So a is equal to b is equal to c, and I will assign with 5. Okay, I'll assign with 5. Now if I print this particular statement, let's say print a, then a b comma, sorry, a comma b comma c. Now see, still I will get the 555 output. Okay, so instead of writing again and again, what you can do, you can also give this particular sign like equal sign, and you can mention any number. So what it will happen, so a will also take the 5, b will also take the 5, c will also take the 5. Okay, because you have mentioned the equal sign here. Okay, that is the idea. So guys, this is all about variable inside Python. I think you got the entire clear-cut idea about the variable. So that's actually you can define any kinds of variable. Okay, if you want to store any kinds of value, you can define any kinds of variable, and inside that you can store any kinds of data type. Okay, this is the idea. Now the next thing we'll be discussing about, let me just comment it out. The next thing we'll be discussing about called keyword. So here I can just write keywords. Okay, keywords inside Python. So now you can ask me, what is this particular keywords? So simply just go to Google and just search for keywords in Python. So if I search this particular statement on the Google, so I will go to the image section. Now see, here I will get different images. So what I can do, so here I can take one image. So let me take a good image actually, so that I can give you the explanation. See, I can take this particular image. Now I'll open this particular image in a new tab. Now I think this image is actually visible. Now you can see there are 39 keywords inside Python. What are the 39 keywords? You can see false, none, true, and as, assert, assigns, await, in, break, class, continue, def, del, elif, else. Okay, for, from, global, if, and so on. So these are the 39 keywords available inside Python. So I think you remember we already used this particular false. Okay, true, false. These are the things we have already used in our program. So this is called actually keyword. And why this keyword is required? Okay, why this particular keyword is required? Let me tell you. Let's say, I think you know about the compilation, code compilation, how code compilation happens. Okay, so let's say whenever I write any kinds of code, how I write any kinds of code, I just give a English text, right? I just give a English text. But you are using one computer. Inside a computer, you are having one processor. Let's say Core i7, Core i9, or let's say Core i3, whatever you are using. So this particular computer can understand this particular raw English directly. Okay, that means raw text directly. So what it does actually, with the help of a compiler, it will try to convert that particular raw text to numbers. That means the binary numbers. That particular binary numbers, it will try to understand what you have written. So this is called code compilation. So some of the programming language will use the compiler, some of the programming language will be using the interpreter. Okay, what is compiler? Compiler will compile entire code altogether, but interpreter will read the code line by line and do the compile operation. Okay, so this is the idea. And then what is happening in the compilation? You are trying to convert this particular text to numbers. That means the binary representation, and your computer is trying to understand particular program, what you have written. But how it is getting understand? Okay, how it is getting understand, like whether you have defined any kinds of variable, whether you have defined any kinds of, let's say, function, whether you have defined any kinds of conditional statement, how it is getting to know? With the help of this particular keyword, it is getting to know. Let's say whenever you are giving the false, it is getting to know, okay, this is a Boolean value. This is the Boolean value. Okay. So whenever it is doing the compilation operation, it is automatically going to know, okay, so this is the Boolean value. Now, likewise, whenever you are defining function, I'll tell you this particular function in Python. As of now, I'm just only telling. So whenever I define any kinds of function, I'll be using this particular def keyword. That time it will automatically consider, okay, your Python will automatically understand you have written a function. Okay, so likewise, we'll be writing a class, we'll be writing a for loop, we'll be writing the if else statement, we'll be importing the libraries. Okay, we'll be using the lambda function, we'll raise the exception. So whatever actually we'll be doing in future, okay, whatever we'll be doing in future, everything will be understanding your Python, okay, with the help of this particular keywords. With the help of keywords, it will understand, okay, after doing the compilation, that means after converting this particular code in a binary representation, it will try to understand with the help of this particular keywords. That's why this keyword is super important concept inside Python. And there are 39 keywords I already told you. So you can remember this particular keywords. And if you don't remember, no need to worry. We'll be using all the keywords, okay, going forward one by one. Okay, and we'll try to understand why we'll be using this particular def, why we'll be using this particular for, form. Okay, everything will be understanding, okay, in detail. No need to worry. So this is called actually keyword inside Python. Okay. Now I think you got the entire idea what is like keyword. Now the next thing actually will be understanding, which is nothing but the identifier. So this is another super important concept inside Python, so called identifier. So identifier. Now what is identifiers? See, identifier is nothing but it's a variable only. It's just a way of declare your variable. Okay, let's say how we define the variable. I think you saw that we take a, let's say any kinds of, let's say a character, or you can also take any kinds of, let's say word. Let's say I can also take like that name is a word, and inside that I can store my name, let's say puppy. Okay, I can also take a character. Let's say I can take a is equal to 1. That's how I can assign. Okay, I can declare any kinds of variable. Okay, I can declare any kinds of variable. But what is identifier? Identifier is nothing but this is the variable. Okay, identifier is nothing but it's a variable declaration. So this particular name is the identifier. For what identifier? Bup is identified. Bup is the value. So bup is identified, this particular name. So this is called identifier. Okay. Again, a is identifier. But there are some way actually we can define this particular variable. Okay. We can define this particular identifier. There are some restriction actually you have to follow. So see, whenever you are defining any kinds of variable, so here you can't start with a digit. Okay. Start with a digit. Okay, let's say I will give you one demo. So let's say here I am defining one variable called, let's say one name. Okay, now if I just write bup inside that, and now if I want to execute this particular program, see, it will give me one error. It will tell you syntax error, invalid, decimal, literal. Okay, I think literal. Yeah, literal. So that's why I have written you can't start with a digit. Okay. Whenever you are defining any kinds of identifier, that is any kinds of variable, you can't start with a digit, but you can actually use the digit at the last of this particular identifier. Let's say name 1 is equal to puppy. That's how actually you can design. Okay, that's how actually you can write. See, it is working. Okay, then there is another actually identifier restriction you have to follow. You can't, okay, you can't use any special character, any special characters. Okay, a special character means like a full stop, comma, then @ sign. Okay, all kinds of punctuation actually you can't use except, okay, except this particular underscore sign. You can use this particular underscore sign, otherwise you can't use anything. So let me give one example. Let's say if I want to declare one variable, let's say I want to declare variable, I am giving the hash. Now here I'm writing, sorry, hash should be considered as a like a comment. So I can give a start, and here I can write name is equal to, let's say puppy. Okay, if I define like that, see, if I execute, this particular program will give me error. This particular program will give me error. Now you can tell me, sir, I can define like that. Instead of writing this particular start at the very first, I can write at the last of this particular identifier. That means in the variable. Now if I just write like that, now if I execute, see, still it won't be working. Still it won't be working, it will give you error. So any kinds of actually symbol you can't use. So let's say instead of start, actually I want to use this particular, let's say @ sign. Okay, I want to use this particular @sign. See, still it will give me the error. It will give me the error. Okay, you can't actually use any kinds of special character, but you can use this particular underscore sign. Okay, now let's say if I'm writing like that, underscore name is equal to, okay, underscore name is equal to Buppy. See, it will work. Again, you can also define like that, name underscore is equal to Buppy. See, it is also working. Okay, now you can also declare the variable. That means you can also declare the identifier like that with the only one underscore sign. So underscore is equal to, let's say, Buppy. Still it will work. That means what it is telling, whenever you are using this particular identifier, that means the variable, there are some restriction. The first restriction is you can't start with any kinds of digit. The second restriction is you can't use any kinds of special character except underscore sign. Okay, that is what actually I've just proven. You can't use any kinds of special character. Only you can use this particular underscore sign. Okay, this is called identifier inside Python. Okay, so guys, we have covered three things inside this particular video. The first thing we have learned about the variable. Variable is nothing but just a container. It can contain any kinds of value. The second thing we have learned, which is nothing but the keywords. There are actually 39 keywords inside Python. Okay, and these are the keyword helps us to compile our program. Okay, and we have learned about the identifier. Identifier is nothing but it's just a way of declare our variable. Okay, there are some restriction we have to follow whenever we are declaring the variable. So I hope guys this concept is clear to all of you. So in the next video, actually, we'll be discussing about the input inside Python, like how we can take an input from the user. Okay, so we'll be learning this particular concept, and we'll be doing one actually beautiful example with the help of input function. So yes, guys, this is all from this particular video. I hope you like this particular video. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and I will see you next time.